Hot, spicy, loaded with fresh herbs. I mean, this is the street food classic you need to know how to make. This is my version of Thailand's Pad Khee Mao. Pad Khee Mao literally translates as drunken stir fry. But you know, I don't know, the drunken part, whatever. The really important part about this dish is it's so freaking good. It's like super spicy, has this really great herbal element, which we'll get to at the end. But first of all, we need to make a garlic chili paste. Now, check out these chilies, please, guys. We have some really epic ones here today. So these kind of little fiery ones here, the red and the green. In Thailand, we call these prikinu, and that literally translates as like rat poo chilies. So not really the nicest name, but they have the best flavor. They're amazing. Look, whatever really spicy chilies you can get in your area, totally cool to use. Even bird's eye chilies would be great as well. But I happen to have these really nice, lovely Thai ones. Okay, now what you want to do is just take the stems off here. Now, obviously, like, you know, you guys know me, so I like things really fiery, so please don't try this at home unless you also like things really fiery. Obviously use less chilies if you would like. Now the other thing I'm going to do here is use some of these large red chilies because I kind of want lots of lovely red pops of color, but also I don't want to really like kind of, you know, go overboard. So these ones are more for the color rather than the spicy. The other thing here is I want to keep things quite chunky. Like I want to kind of like bite into some bits of chili here. So I'm just roughly chopping those. Now I also need some garlic. Now a good pinch of salt here. Not just for flavor, but because the salt acts, you know, sort of as an abrasive kind of thing here to help pound everything and grind it down a bit. Now just give this a light kind of pounding. And now you can see a lot of that garlic skin has sort of come loose. So you can just pick out kind of like the larger chunks of the garlic skin. I don't mind if there's some left in there. And now you want to go in and really kind of bruise these ingredients up. Okay, so this is the kind of situation we're after here. It doesn't need to be all fine dining. I want it nice and chunky. And this is the point where you start to get a bit of, you know, a bit of a clear out happening. You're not doing this dish right unless you have a coughing fit at some point. That's the theory. Okay, next up, let's talk about noodles. So traditionally in Thailand, you would have fresh rice noodles for these. So I'm really lucky that I was able to find some fresh rice noodles today. They look like this. Typically you'll find these in the fridge section at an Asian supermarket. If you can't get a hold of these guys, don't worry, just use some rice stick noodles. If you can get the thicker ones, that would be great, but even just the pad Thai ones is totally good as well. Don't miss out on this dish because you can't get the fresh rice noodles. Oh wait, actually I've got a video on how you can make fresh rice noodles too on my channel, so there you go. Now I took these guys out of my fridge like an hour ago, so they're a nice, you know, sort of room temperature. If your noodles are really cold, they are going to break apart really easily. So just pop them in the microwave for like 10 seconds and then they will easily sort of unfold like this. Now these are the big large sheets. You can usually find them already sliced. That's fine to use as well. I like quite sort of like wide, chunky noodle pieces. So I'm going in like that. And at this point, if your noodles are warm, you kind of give them a bit of a rub. Sort of like, you know, when you're like trying to open up a plastic, you know, when you're trying to open a plastic bag and you just kind of give it a rub to try and, you know, loosen it up a bit. It's a bit like that, I suppose. And then just gently, just separate them out. And you want to do this before you start stir frying. I mean, if you just went in and threw these into the wok, it'd be one big clumpy mess. So you want to sort of just get them nice, separated. Okay, so you've got your lovely plate of noodles here. If you are using the dried version of the noodle, just cook those and rinse them so they're nice and cool. Just have them sitting there. Last thing we want to do before we get stir frying is just do some greens. So I'm going to grab a hold. I've got choy sum, but you could use bok choy or pak choy. So, you know, the story is that like a drunk guy came home and cooked these noodles. Well, one of the stories, but he must have been quite, you know, forward thinking or healthy or, you know, he put some greens in there. I don't know. Okay, so now we can get stir frying. So I want you to get your wok nice and hot. Now you just need a little bit of oil to start with. Now here's where you should like kind of just hold your breath, open the windows, doors. This is about to get quite spicy here. Pop in your chili garlic paste. You know, I love that smell. I mean, that smell to me is pure heaven. Except for when it kind of gets stuck, but no, we're all good. Now I'm gonna throw in my prawns. Now you could do chicken, pork, whatever you like here. I just happen to have prawns today. Give those prawns a little bit of time here to kind of soak up that chili and just cook through a little. Now you wanna throw in your green vegetables. I love all those colors already. The red, the green, the prawns, so good. So now you want to go in with your noodles. And then here are the sauces. So you need some oyster sauce, some dark soy sauce. You could use a dark sweet soy sauce, which is slightly thicker, or just a regular Chinese dark soy sauce, just for a little bit of beautiful color here. And of course, because this is a Thai noodle dish that we're making, we need some fish sauce. Toss that all around. And those noodles, even if you're using you know, dry noodles and they're a little bit sort of stuck, because that's what happens when they sit around for a little bit, at this point the sauce and everything will start to, you know, soften everything up. And look at that shiny lusciousness going on here. Okay, one final, not really secret ingredient, but like really essential ingredient here are the herbs. So in Thailand, I would use what's called bai krapao. We also call that holy basil or spicy basil. It kind of has a really spicy flavor, hence it's called spicy basil. I find it very difficult to get in Australia. So I'm just gonna go in with some of these Thai basil leaves. You can see Thai basil has like that sort of purpley flower situation going on. You can even use Italian basil here, guys. What I want is a nice big hit of fresh herbs at the end. So I'm gonna go in with my Thai basil. Now, quick toss here. And we are done. Now get those steaming noodles out onto a plate. Oh, I love this smell. I wish you guys were here. One final little basil embellishment here at the end. And there you go, friends. Thai drunken noodles, pad ki mao, whatever you want to call them. You don't have to be drunk. The guy that made them supposedly was drunk, I don't know, or hungover, not sure. The interesting thing here is, let's get in here and eat some. I love how, I mean, this dish is like a full-on punch in the face. That chili and the garlic, and then you get like that beautiful saltiness and the chewy noodles, and then that beautiful fresh, you know, herb basil at the end. That takes me right back to the streets of Thailand. Oh, love, love, love. Yum. If you've got any comments or questions, pop them below. And if you enjoyed the video, why not hit that subscribe button plus the little bell one, and that way you'll get notified every time I release a new video.